y'all. Welcome to Spoiler Fans. We are here to talk about the craziest episode that we have had this season so far of Survivor
Really?
42.
Craziest?
That's a heavy statement, but yes, it was pretty.
I think it was a lot. We got to see some advantages dropped, the return of the do or die, and just I feel like boo shots fired everywhere, and really setting up for a fun end game. So we are going to jump into it.
Let's go.
There's a lot to discuss, but first, Kevin, Robbie, Sheldon, how are you?
Good.
Lovely.
I'm doing
Good
well.
to see you, Kylie. We haven't seen you in these parts in a while, Kylie. Good to have you back.
I know. I've been out a few weeks.
There's still one game left, but I'm riding a high from last night, so gotta rep the Maple Leafs a little bit tonight.
All right, so let's jump into this. So basically this episode is going to kick off with the fallout from the high vote, and they're coming back to camp, and we get Mike just saying High had to go because he was a liar, he was a backstabber, he was my number one enemy, even though he was acting like he was my best friend. So do y'all like him coming back and just kind of explaining to the couple people that were left out, Marianne and Romeo, why this has happened?
Well, I know we didn't get to record last week, but I love the job that Omer did on him, where he now thinks that High was always working against him when he was never working against him. Yeah. And I just love that. So like Mike is very much speaking his truth about what he feels like is the truth of what happened when it was nowhere near the truth of how this went down.
Yeah, Mike genuinely believes High was against him.
Yeah.
But
I said a few episodes ago when High was trying to push for Roxroy to go, and I said that he played it well, High did great, and then he even went to his ally to say, hey, I don't want to blindside you, Mike, I want to let you know. And I said that was a mistake, not taking Mike's advice when Mike was saying, listen, man, they're not going to trust us anymore. They're going to think that we're backstabbing people. We just gave our word. And High's like, no, it's for the best or whatever. And they go ahead, and then it opened the door for Omar to come in and just be like, listen, man, he's playing you like a fiddle right now. And you just don't see it.
And Mike's like, yeah, he is playing me.
And High planted his own seed of doom right
I think
there.
that the key to this was, Omer saying, if you're going to tell a lie, tell a good lie. Yeah. And I think it was one of those where there was just enough seeded in a little bit of truth where Mike could be like, you know what? You're right. But, Omer stretches it maybe a little bit, and then he immediately cuts it off. And now High can't even come back and be like, no, I never said that. And so he's like, he lied, and then he eliminated the person he lied about. So it's just marvelous.
Flawless.
And I think this is the beauty of Omar, though, in this game. That actually helped what happened in tonight's episode, because that relationship became stronger and allowed that move that Omar did again tonight actually happen. Yeah, and we'll get to it in a second, but the brilliance of Omar, I love it.
I love the fact that Omar knows, because like when you play a game, you want to make a move, and then you don't want to be like too out in the open, so you make the move, then you like hide and you wait for a second. So the fact that Omar made a move and then backed up a little bit, so that way no one came for him. It was fantastic. By the way, that was fantastic.
That's good for you, Kevin, for somehow holding that together, man, because I don't know what the hell's going on with Kiley right now.
No.
Why are you me?
What happened? That was very, very strange. I just needed to mute myself to clear my throat for a second. All of a sudden, I was Sheldon. I don't get it. Okay,
can I play that Sheldon icon as an idol? Can I claim that?
Yeah,
you've never looked that good.
First one to claim it, Robbie gets it. All right, so we do get Drea and Lindsay chatting like, hey, wasn't the worst thing because now we have a still event together. Yay! And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I really see these two shaping up to be a really strong duo that could have a great impact in the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, that's not going to come to fruition. But do y'all like the move of taking High out? And then, because I was like, I think that we're really going to see them use it as a steal a vote, because I would be willing, if I were in their circumstance, I'd say, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's steal someone's vote. That way you're just flushed of it.
I felt like High getting voted out reminded them of the amulets. I think
Yeah.
they forgot about the amulets, and then when High went home, they were like,
Oh.
"Oh yeah."
So this is what it feels like when one of us goes.
Yeah.
That's the. I almost feel like I'm like, this sustains me.
But
I need to keep doing this.
But I also think it's sort of it shifted the light away, because High really was a target. Like he was playing a game. He was playing it. And then you got these two women who arguably that Drea is a big threat. And we sort of see Lindsay realizing, I don't want Drea to also be the big threat. I want to be the big threat here. I want to keep on winning the competitions. And so like it was almost impossible for them to start working, because they both actually want to make moves and play the game. Yeah. Which I respect so much out of both of them, because these players, they came here to play. They didn't come here to get dragged.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things
of getting dragged, so yes. We kind of get a little bit of Romeo, and so I love Romeo. He is a perfect little villain. He has these confessionals where he's just like, I told everyone it was okay that they voted for me, but it's not okay. I hate all of them. And, we have little villain Romeo back at, the campfire eating some rice. But, everybody is just kind of complaining about Romeo. He's lazy. He doesn't help out around camp. But I kind of love him a little bit.
Why?
I think he's a little bitter, lazy player. That's as politely as I can put that. I don't know. I feel like they're doing him a favor by at least giving him the villain edit, because ever since the beginning of the game, like he did unbelievable at the start of the game.
Pretty much.
And I was throwing as much praise as I could towards Romeo at the beginning, but once he got hit with hardship, he didn't pivot.
Well,
he didn't pivot and readjust and push to make alliances. He doesn't have any of that flair that Omar or Drea have, where they're actually trying to do things.
I have to disagree with you guys. I feel like he probably has been attempting to make moves since the merge, but the people making the moves at the merge were all the big strong people. And this is not to fast forward, but tonight's the second time he voted wrong, or the third time he voted wrong.
I think he's voted wrong every time except for the Roxroy vote.
I don't know if that's wrong.
He voted right since merge.
Right.
He voted Roxroy.
And it's because he's being given wrong information, because he's on the bottom, and he's just trying. I think he's trying to make moves. I think these people that he's voting with, he would love to work with, but they're the ones going home. So
yeah, but at this point though, just being there and trying isn't enough to get credit. I like at this point in the game, like the trying part should be assumed at this point. It's who is succeeding at actually manipulating the path of the game. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm not saying he's not at least having conversations.
Yeah,
but he throws whatever name you want to go after, he's for at this point. Which
I'm not really enjoying Romeo so much as a player, but more as a character a little bit. Like whatever we get from him, I enjoy, because it's entertaining.
He's fun as an antagonist. That's exactly what he is. But truth be told, I think his antagonism is the reason why he can't actually make any moves, because he is not likable. I don't think anybody like there is absolutely no reason why Drea and him shouldn't have been able to continue working together.
Right.
But I think he is so unlikable and so hard to work with, and probably hard to really just be with, that for Drea it was an easy move. Dump him. I don't care.
But something interesting is, him and Marianne have this conversation where they're like, hey, we're on the bottom, but we're gaining traction. And they are really getting to the point now where their 2 votes are very, very pivotal, because now there's only 6 people left, and you've got 2 people that have been left out. Well, they've become a lot more powerful. And I find it very, very hard to find a scenario where we don't see Romeo sitting at the end in one of the final 3 chairs, because no one is going to want to vote him out.
Is Romeo Ryan Aldridge at this point?
I gotta Google who that is. I gotta Google.
From
HOJ.
Heroes versus Hustlers versus
Healers.
Homies. It was another H word.
Versus
He
hockey
was
players.
he was
Yeah,
so unlikable, if you will, or to the point where it seemed like no one really wanted to work with him. That he wasn't the prototypical goat, but he was essentially the goat that they dragged to the end. Is Romeo in that boat at this point?
I don't see how you don't. I don't see how you don't bring Romeo. Like once you've spoken with everybody else on the island about how he's just sitting there eating food, not cooking it. Like even if you cooked it and then ate more than you should, that's one thing. But just waiting for other people to cook the food and then eat it and not provide and not compete and not and not vote with you, just basically just be around. How do you not bring that to the end?
But I don't think, I get that, but I think you have to bring him to the end, not just because of that, but because there's a whole heck of a lot of people that we got to get rid of before him. And like Jonathan's got to go, Lindsay's got to go, Drea's got to go. Like,
so
heck,
does
even
Jonathan
Marianne
have
is
to
so
go?
likable.
Is Jonathan Xander?
So I'm starting to believe that, although I am not certain they believe that yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we're seeing so many people talk about how terrible Jonathan is at strategy, I don't think that there's any world where we see Jonathan as a winner.
I think if he was sitting beside, who could he be sitting beside? Romeo and
Marianne?
That's it. No one, because I think Marianne beats him.
And I think Marianne beats him.
Omer beats him. I think Lindsay beats him.
Yeah, I think
just out of likability, or out of gameplay. Because
I mean, I think it's close. I think that's his ideal scenario is a Romeo, Marianne, Jonathan final three. That gives him probably the best odds, but I still think that Marianne wins against him. I think unless there's some crazy world where it becomes a final two. It's not. The only way that Jonathan wins is if it's only Romeo that he's up against. So
I think you're right.
Yeah, not looking too good for him.
Unless there's some type of a split, but even
I don't think it would be a blowout, though. I don't think it would be a blowout.
I don't think it would be a blowout. No.
Him and Lindsay can't push the whole competitor card because nobody in the season has dominated challenges, both tribal or individually, as much as Jonathan has. So he gets that hands down. So then it's okay. Well, what strategy? Where have you changed the game? And Lindsay's really good at being in the right place with the right group at the right time.
Yeah.
But
don't you folks feel that the impact of really good challenge play is actually lessened when you have a bad social game? Like I think between outwit, outplay, outlast, the social side is so much more important. That unless you are in danger, and especially if he's a goat, that even if Lindsay's sitting against him, she could say, you know what, he was a power player, and I still won immunities against him. So holy crap, look at my physical game.
Yeah, I agree. Fair, but there's no way there's nobody in their right mind can say that Lindsay was more dominant in challenges. Jonathan's been arguably the most dominant ever, or at least top few.
Ever.
When it comes to challenges, right? And but Jonathan could also just say, like, my social game was so bad that I didn't have allies willing to save me. I didn't have people willing to use stuff on me to give me information. If I didn't win, I was going home.
But that's
not true.
I'm not saying that's a good argument, but I'm saying he has that if he's smart enough to use it.
But I mean, they've had 3 scenarios where Jonathan did not have immunity and they did not vote him out. I just think that there's a lot to unpack, and we can probably get more into each individual person's path to victory in a couple weeks because we're just not that far from the end, and there's a lot. So before the immunity challenge, we kind of get lots of strategy talk about if we were to go to tribal council, what we will do. And Mike kind of wants Drea. They make this final 5 on the beach with the 5 that have been voting together: Lindsay, Jonathan, Omer, Mike, and Drea. And Mike's like, no, that's not a real thing. I just want Drea to feel safe so she doesn't play anything. We get this once again, them kind of, I feel like for the first half of the season, they only shown they only showed Jonathan in a really, really positive light. And then the last 2 or 3 episodes, they definitely have been showing us why he's not going to probably win. And we get hangry Jonathan, and hangry Jonathan is a lot to deal with.
It's so funny because at this point we now have Drea as a possibility to go home tonight because Mike wants Drea to go. We have Mike as a possibility to go because Mike is talking to Omer, and Omer's like, "Hey man, this is the new high. We got to get rid of this dude now that he's the new high." And then you get hangry Jonathan, or everyone collectively, and he needs to go in general. Yeah. Kiley, let's do a Jonathan check for you, Kiley. I know how much you loved him early in this season. Where is your love right now, Kiley?
I would say I still really like Jonathan. Probably a little less than love. So that's where we'll leave him. But because I mean, honestly, he was getting like a flawless edit, and a lot of the things that he says, I agree with. Like his first immunity challenge win in the 5-5 tribal councils. He's like, at this point, I couldn't push my narrative because I am such a physical threat. And I agree with that. It's just once we see him really talking strategy, he's really, really bad at it. And so, it's just kind of, he needs to be on the challenge. So,
look, Jonathan, I think, believes that he is an expert strategist. But the truth is, 9 out of 10 voices in his head are telling him he's crazy, and the other one is probably
You're
humming,
doing a good job.
Okay, so what the he doesn't get it, and I feel
you have to toss him a bone a little bit with the fact that at least he's aware. Not a lot of muscle-bound dudes that go on that show can last this long into the season and still be saying, I need to make sure I don't talk about that. I need to make sure that I don't talk about how I'm hungry or need more food. On other seasons, they say it out loud. I need more food because I'm bigger and I'm stronger and we need to win. And they sync themselves.
That's why I don't.
I give him credit for that. But that's all Jonathan thinking about Jonathan.
Yeah.
That's not Jonathan. He's really good at thinking about himself.
And how to maintain, how to control things for himself.
I can't relate to Fit Boy problems.
Neither can I.
Yeah, I think Jonathan is very self-aware because he is aware of how he can come across intimidating or just trying to strong arm people because of his physical presence. Mm-hmm. But then when you see him using his brain, it's just not the best. But it's okay. It's okay. There's not everybody is meant to be an Omer. You know what I mean? You've got to have all different kinds of characters. So he's out there anyways. All right. So going into the immunity challenge, once again, we are back with a do or die. And Dawn has this comment here. For all that, we got to be Jonathan no matter what. He cannot win immunity. There was a whole bunch of gray rocks. So
listen, I loved it because we get to the do or die, and Jeff explains it again like he did last season that the first person out is going to have to compete. Is going to have to do the do or die twist. The other person is going to win, or whoever wins, wins immunity. And I loved how everyone looked at the challenge and was like, "Yeah, I'm good on this one, Jonathan. And if you want this one, you can just have it."
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the twist just really quickly? I don't know if I love the chance twist. I actually like the idea of the exact same thing that they have to pick a rock and they choose whether they win immunity or not. But the other side might be like, if you don't, you get us food, or you I don't know, the giving up so much of the game to chance. I hate. Mm-hmm.
We talked about this a lot last season. I think we kind of mostly all settled on at least they have a say in it as opposed to the hourglass twist, which is completely out of their hands. At least this, they get to look at the challenge and they get to make a decision. You know what I mean? Like Mike looking at that, he's probably not going to win it.
Listen, like Don in the chat, I also do not like this twist. I don't like it at all. I'm out on the do or die twist now, seeing it for a second time. I don't like the fact that challenges. I'm a guy that doesn't believe challenges should mean that much other than just getting immunity. And so the fact that you could go home for not winning the challenge, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, but
I
kind
hear
of like
what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I think there was a sweet spot that we landed on. I don't know if it was Frank last season that said it. I'll give him credit anyway. I'm but I'm pretty sure I love twists like this because it makes people who are starving out there, stressed out, and in their mind have to think on the fly and make a very important decision. This is where we get some drama a lot of times, like today where we almost had one person with a stone, but so we had two. But I think where we ended up last time was where people lose their enjoyment of this twist is where it's just straight up chance. Whereas if it was the same twist where you have to make a decision and it will impact, like you'll be at risk at tribal council or whatever, if all of a sudden the person who lost first had to make fire against whoever got voted out, like if it was something goofy, not goofy, but something more like that where you're still screwed, you fell first, but now you have a fighting chance at tribal. Whoever the tribe votes out goes against you. So now the tribe has to say, like, I'm going to put a target on somebody and vote them out. But if the first person that goes out is someone you like, well, you're going to vote out a crappy fire maker. Like it adds a bunch of drama to it, I think, which is kind of the point of the show. But I don't necessarily hate the fact that the first person to drop out has a big negative. I just don't like the fact that it's just math. Like pick 1 and 3. Hope you get lucky.
Can we talk about the outcome? Because I fundamentally don't understand what Lindsay was doing.
Yeah, so
why.
Lindsay and Jonathan compete, right? It's just the two of them.
Yeah.
But why would she compete? Like
yeah.
I thought she had it.
I look at it and I feel like Lindsay favorably beats Jonathan in this. Jonathan is so
I thought
big.
so too.
He can barely get his
just
arms
because the perch.
Far, you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Just because the perch, man. It's like this.
But if you have the votes lined up to vote him out normally, and tonight he might win immunity anyway, the risk is too great. The risk is just too great. I'm with Sheldon.
She didn't need it.
The math doesn't work.
Need it.
But if she wanted him out, and she looked at the challenge and said, "Listen, I'm physically smaller than this guy. I can fit on this perch better. I'm physically fit as well. If I beat him, what a resume move that is. I went one-on-one against Jonathan, the biggest physical threat, got him out, and then we voted him out. And it's against her ally. I probably would have put it 50-50, but I get the impression that everybody else says it was like 95% that he was going to win.
But to me, the odds are irrelevant. To me, Kevin is right. Like there was no need. So he would have won immunity. Fine. Yeah. So get rid of Romeo. Get rid of somebody else.
What other big moves has she made this season that she can put her stamp on and not just being part of a tribe vote?
Right.
She's been working with this group. She has the amulet. She is going.
The amulet was random.
She's been in the right. She's been in the right group the whole time. Yeah. She's voted correctly the whole time, and she's more likable. Yeah. Those are all things that.
That's the thing. Those are all group decisions. Like this is one. Like
Omar, they're all things that beats Jonathan. Those are all things that beat Jonathan, though, right? And that's kind of like where she's looking at it. Is that those are all moves that beat Jonathan. All those, even the random thing, those are all things that beat Jonathan.
But what she doesn't know is she's not competing against Jonathan right now. I guess that's the problem. Like as a viewer, we know she's competing against Omar and maybe Mike when it comes to making moves that actually happen.
Yeah. All right. So not very long lasting. Do y'all know how did they change this challenge up from the Christian Alex 5-hour battle to 12 minutes? How did we go from 5 hours to 12 minutes? What did they change here? Lost Kevin for a minute? Sure, he'll be back. All right. But what did they change? Is the ledge smaller? I don't understand.
That's a really good question.
I don't know. I've got no idea.
Yeah.
I think one way they switched it up was I think the perch maybe was smaller.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the only assumption I can make is that because like that looked crazy. Like that was like an inch. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to jam their size 12 boots on an inch.
Yeah.
And that's
so Jonathan wins. He is off the table. We have them going back to camp. And even though they don't know, hey, Lindsay may just flip that skull and she's going to be dead in the water, but they still have to plan for a tribal council. And we got to see so much happen. And this was a really, really fun day on the beach. So let's dig into it. We get lots of different scenarios thrown around. What do y'all think is actually going to happen whenever they get back?
So as they were going through, Mike still has the plan of taking out Drea. Lindsay could just go home. I loved both Lindsay and Drea's confessionals with being like, listen, if the other one goes, I didn't really want to do it, but that amulet is looking real nice right now. If the other one goes, I'm just not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind it. I did love those confessionals. It was a fantastic scramble. One thing though that was crazy is that it was genius to me the way that Drea was able to watch everyone's movements and suss out that this may be her, and that she was going to be able to make a move here. But listen, the difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits, and telling Omer about her situation, terrible decision.
That's heartbreaking, man. That was heartbreaking. I've been rooting for Drea since the beginning in this season, and when she's been the strongest mentally, I think, apart from Omar, I mean, probably tied, when it comes to just like being focused on the win, being focused on, I'm here for me, I'm here to do what it takes to get to the end no matter what, and keeping those secrets as long as she did. Even when she shared secrets, it was only about other things. Like, she didn't say, here's all my stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to give that powerful of a move away when it literally could have saved you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
literally could have saved you.
So perceptive as to, all these different conversations that are happening. And as she says at Tribal, like, oh yeah, I'm going people coming back from the watermill and their jugs aren't full and they're going to look for wood, but they're going back with no firewood. So perceptive, but to completely misread her relationship with Omer, because that's basically what it comes down to.
Did she, though?
But here's the question. Is
because
it
look,
a misread?
Dawn says here, hold on, Kylie, hold on. Dawn says here, can we talk about Omer and his amazing people moving skills? Because I don't feel like anyone's misreading Omer. I feel like everyone's reading exactly what Omer wants them to read. He is handing them the books and they're reading them as they're written, but in reality, there's secret ink there. You know what I'm saying?
That's still a misread, though. Like, look, I'm not gonna crap on Drea because she's pretty brilliant and
great,
Kevin,
fantastic,
easy all-star, easy all-star.
I love everything about her. She's great TV. I just think Omar outplayed her.
Yes,
and Omar has this ability to create choices for himself, which is probably the most important part of this game. And he has everybody eating out of his lap, out of his bowl and his lap, maybe both at the same time. And it's pretty exciting. Good for him, for a virgin. But it's pretty amazing how he had a choice, and whatever he wanted to happen, he knew how everybody was voting. He knew exactly what would happen, and he makes a choice round after round after round.
Yeah.
I am worried though about him.
Worried.
It's too open.
It's now people see it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what Drea said when she left, but now people really see it, and it scares me.
So is Lindsay Omer's actual number one? Does he have a number one?
I don't think he has a number one. I think he's doing what's going to get him to the end and to the win the best. I think he's enjoying playing the game. I think he doesn't lie in his day-to-day life. I think he's probably one of the nicest human beings, probably, if you're his friend. And he's just there in this environment where religion goes away, being a respected veterinarian goes away, and he's just having a gay old time. And I honestly think that he doesn't care who is number one. His number two is he wants to go to the end, and he wants to win, and he wants to play, and that's it.
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Today I actually had to rewatch the last 3 episodes because I was behind on scoring for our little draft, and so I've really gotten to see Omer's game a lot in the last little bit of time. And he makes a comment in a couple episodes back of, I've got this big group alliance with Jonathan, Lindsay, Mike, all of them. And then I have an individual relationship with every single other person. And I am always in the position that no matter what, everybody's coming to me with everything. And so I think it ultimately boils down to Drea was a very, very good player, and Omer is top tier.
A great player. Yeah.
And that's what makes me a little bit afraid for Mike, because up to this point, Mike's been pretty hidden with a lot of his thought process. But Omar knows now that Mike has something on his resume.
Yeah.
right? And once he knows Mike's got something on his resume, that's a threat.
Pew, pew.
And Omar clearly knows this game well enough that he's already gone through Final Tribal in his brain. So, okay, I made this moves. I've known about all of these twists. I manipulated all these people. I can beat you and you and you and you and you. And all you have to do is show him, here's a way I played the game well, like Hai or now Mike or anybody else who's been like, here's a strategy, Drea. And Omar's like, yeah. Not only does Omar want to win, he wants the unanimous vote at the end. And he's like, somebody might toss you a vote. You got to go.
Yeah.
You might get a vote. You probably need to get up out of here.
Yeah. I mean,
he wants the flawless victory.
Absolutely fantastic to watch. I mean, we are watching like a Survivor clinic be put on every single week. But yes, definitely afraid for him. So let's talk about, his choices. Basically, he lays it out for us. He can either go to Mike with this information of the knowledge is power. She's going to steal your idol. You should let me have it. And
now I have an idol and I don't have to give it back to Mike.
Yeah. So, he has the two scenarios of, hey, I can just let Mike get voted out, a la Shan, and I'm just going to keep his advantage, or I can keep Drea's secret, let her do it. And I think that what his ultimate decision comes down to, Robbie, kind of what you're hitting at, is if I let Drea pull off this move, then Drea has a resume to beat me. So I can't let Drea do this.
I also think that Omar is extremely well liked by everybody in the jury and in the game. And if he pulls up, I think it's one thing playing the game and manipulating. It's another thing boldly taking away an idol from Mike and then voting him out. I think that's another level of evil that is too dangerous for Omar's brand in the game.
Yeah, and you would have at that point been telling Drea, thank you for telling me about your advantage. I'm going to let you waste it. I'm going to get the idol, and you're still going to be in the game after I made you waste your advantage. And you're going to be cool with that just because I'm Omar, right? So everything he did makes sense. And I'd also support him keeping it at this point, right? You're down to 6 people, and you've got Lindsay now has an idol. You've got an idol. Someone's going to win immunity. There might only be a couple people that you can even vote for.
So you go back and just tell Mike, so listen, Mike, I'm going to play that thing tonight because tonight's the last time you could play it. So sorry, fam. You better win immunity because I'm playing it tonight. It's what it is.
So, I mean, do you think he gives the immunity idol back next time?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I can't wait to see.
Look, do you lose you lose Mike's jury vote, but at the same time, you're safe at 6, and 6 is the last time it can be played.
Yeah.
Well, 5. Is it 5 or 6?
5.
I thought it was 6. Maybe it's 5. So you have 2 votes that you can do this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what he does. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to find out. So let's get into Tribal Council. Do you have anything else to add about any of the scheming pre-tribal?
Dude, poor Romeo, right? They're like, Romeo, it might be you. Only person that comes to Romeo with the plan is Drea. They didn't even tell Romeo that the vote was Drea. That was the thing. Mike's like, I'm not even going to waste my time talking to Romeo and telling him the vote's Drea. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and we're getting to the point in the season now. There's so few players left that everybody's going to talk to everybody at some point. So from a production and from an editing perspective, they have so many weapons now because any conversation that you want to see is going to happen. And 90% of them are going to be lies, but people are going to bump into each other wherever. Like if it's raining, they're going to be, at the shelter, they're going to be at the water well, getting water, whatever. And we're voting for this person. Yeah, of course. And all of a sudden that's what they get to play with us. So I try to stick when I'm watching, okay, where are the groups talking? where is it more than just the bumping into people conversations?
I did love how the group was talking at the well, and Dre was like, y'all done over there? Y'all ready to come on back?
That was foreshadowing, I think, of like, wow, that's rubbing people. And then, so you go from somebody literally yelling at you to come back with my water. I need it now. Come back with my water. I need it. To somebody being hangry and Jonathan, and how everyone's like cool with, one person yelling at you for the water. Well, it makes me wonder, has that been happening for like 3 weeks now? Or every time
it was more of a joke.
I thought it was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was more a joke. And they're obviously scheming because they're still at the water. And she's like, hey, stop scheming over there. Get back over here.
Yeah.
All right, so this tribal council, we go through all of Jeff's questioning and everything first. Yeah.
We
Yeah, we
went
get
through
the
the
game.
questions
We get the game,
and
right?
we get right to it. We get to the challenge itself. Lindsay, before we could really get into it, Lindsay has to play the game where
Do
she
or
has to
die.
pick a thing,
Dum,
the
dum,
do or die
dum.
game.
All right, so I'm just going to throw it out here. We see the scenario once again where she chooses her box. Jeff is obviously going to show one of the skulls, and then she has the choice to switch. Is there any scenario where this is a little magician trick box and they can control, oh, look, I flip it here and it shows a flame, and I flip it here and it shows fire? I mean, that's cool.
Math says you're supposed, like the strategy is you're supposed to switch, right? But neither statistically. But Deshaun didn't switch. Lindsay doesn't switch. High even says you always switch here. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
But I think you're both right. I think, Kevin, you're obviously right. The math says you're supposed to switch. And if I was there, I'd switch just because I believe, I believe in science. The Napoleon Dynamite, or not Napoleon Dynamite.
I think I would
Libre,
just feel like such an ass if I switched and then I end up doing the wrong one. I would never switch. I don't care what the math says.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it.
But we're different people.
If I switched and then I was, choose the skull, I'm going to be so pissed at myself.
Regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets. Just go.
No regrets.
Sheldon, you're a smart guy.
But Kiley, you're right. Maybe the box is rigged. Maybe it's a production trick. Whatever.
I just wonder.
I don't think for the show, I don't think they would risk it. But I mean, Hollywood's Hollywood, so who freaking knows? But yeah, I don't think for the integrity of the show that they would risk it.
I don't think it's rigged. I think it would be silly for it to be rigged. It is strange that 2 times in a row the right box was chosen when you only have a 33% chance, but that's statistics and it happens. There's a chance that's the case. If I was her, I would probably not have been in that situation. Simple as that, because that's too scary.
Yeah, I think both seasons Jeff points at the box that's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
when
you have to know
you pick a box and he points at it.
Yeah.
But you have to know that that's the tail, right? You don't know that.
But like that, does that kind of like subconsciously be like, ooh, something in my mind's telling me I should go with this one. That's kind of interesting to think about, and it's something
I feel like we're looking for things. I usually agree with Don in the chat, but today,
if there is a third run through of the do or die, I kind of just want to see, does Jeff subconsciously point towards the right box, and then without really trying to hint at it, does he just kind of F up a little bit, and does the person just in your mind, are you like, oh, I feel drawn to this one?
I don't think he does it to rig it though, because I think like life, if you just let life do what it has to do, I think it's more entertaining and more random than trying to rig it, and it's probably better for TV if he just lets crazy shit happen. But yeah, I mean, subconscious is what it is.
Yeah.
I hope we don't see this again. That said, it's great TV, so it's going to be happening. It's going to come back.
It is. All right, so Lindsay does not switch, flips the box, and she is safe. What? I am shook. Did not think it was going to happen twice in a row. Did it?
Well, I did when I looked at the time left in the show. But once that happened, immediately Drea goes, hey, man, I got this little thing in my pocket. Let me pull this out. Let me read to you the knowledge is power situation.
Yeah,
Mike is immediately looking upset.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what Drea doesn't realize is when people are talking about you behind your back, you should fart, and she doesn't. And she put all of her trust into Omer, and she did not realize that he was out here just spilling her secrets. And we get the little flashback 30 minutes before tribal.
Bro, these flashbacks are fantastic. When they show you a thing, because she says, Mike, do you got an idol? And Mike's like, no. And then take you back.
And they started hitting that really, really hard last season, right? That editing shtick, right? Last season, it really came in heavy, and I'm glad they're doing it again.
Yeah, perfectly done. So we do see that Omer spills the beans, tells Mike hands him over the idol, and sorry, Drea, your advantage is not going to work. And Drea just has to be like, damn.
I love the knowledge is power is an advantage, whether it's used again or not. Because if someone else goes out there and you know someone has an idol, you should definitely just tell them, "Hey, Robbie, Sheldon has the knowledge is power, and he's going to use it on you tonight. Give me your idol, and then we're going to be good to go." And then you're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, you're my ally, Kevin. Here's my idol." And then we all just vote you out because we knew that Sheldon did not have a knowledge of power. I now have your idol. You cannot now use your idol because it's in my hand. And you're going home. I think that's amazing that it has entered the game because it has added a new wrinkle for strategy in general.
Well, but as Drea left, and I know we're about to get there, she did something that most people don't do in this game, and she started spilling tea. And that's the worry about using that strategy, Kevin, because somebody might say, "You tricked me. Look at what Kevin just did. Yeah. This is exactly what you did on their way out." So there is a risk there.
So Sheldon, what you got to do is you got to look surprised. You got to look shocked. She said she was going to use it. And Sheldon said he was going to use it. I don't know. And then you're gone. You're out of here.
I don't know.
Yeah, Mike, she's 100% right. She told me, but I wanted you to stay, so I saved you.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Thank you, Drea. Yeah. Thank you for telling Mike he can trust me.
Yeah, so they go to vote 5-2. Drea
5-3, wasn't it?
Yeah, 5-3. Doesn't matter, but yeah. 5-3.
She used an extra vote. She used her extra
vote. Oh, yeah, she uses her extra vote. My bad.
Well, I love it because she used the extra vote, and Mike says, "Did you use the extra vote?"
Yeah,
and
well,
she's
Mike's
like,
trying to do the numbers in his mind because you write Mike's name down, you're dead to him. So, Romeo, your time is up. Mike is coming for you. But Mike needed to know if he needed to cut 2 people or 1. So, he does. He finds that out. Drea is such a great sport about, she
Can I just say,
Survivor Rich, just everything got completely foiled.
For Sheldon. Sheldon, you got the lane.
Listen, everything about what Drea did is exactly what I want every single Survivor player to ever do when they leave. There is such respect for the game, such respect for the people who just blindsided her. Well, not really blindsided her, but got rid of her. Such respect for herself to realize it's just a game. She didn't screw up. It happens and left. I loved it. Was such good sportsmanship. I want her back so badly. And I can't wait to see her again. It was so smart. The respect she gave the players, even telling Mike that he's dangerous. Yes, she sort of did it to hurt his game, but it was also really out of respect. The hug she gave him was so real and authentic. She loves these people. And I have to also say, after she left, we saw a little bit more of, I think, the happy, emotional. And there were seconds of, oh my God, is this Marianne right now? Because she was like so smiley. And I was like, oh my God, we're getting so much more of Drea right now. I want you to go.
Yeah, I thought that same thing too. Definitely the most personality we've really gotten from her. All of her confessionals are so game centered, and she's so focused and just very kind of cutthroat. And then getting to see like that side of her, you're like, oh gosh, like that's the side that they get of her at camp. And
we don't smell the margaritas and the nachos that are right around the corner.
Yeah, that's true. So who knows?
I love that she was like, I love that she stuck around for so long, just like hanging out for like a whole 2 minutes, and Jeff just like stood there like with the snuffer, just chilling, waiting for her to finish.
And
she snuffed her own torch.
And she throws something to every single person. Mike, if you're at the end, you're going to win. Lindsay, you're a badass. Whatever she says. Jonathan, never coming after you. Marianne, keep being yourself. Da 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 da. Omer is the only person that I told. I just want y'all all to know that.
Oops.
And the first wrinkle in Omer's game.
Mm-hmm. Is it salvageable is the question, because it probably is. Because he's not.
Omer's so good.
He's
so good. So he's good, but he's got a little adversity now that he's going to have to work through. So it's going to be interesting to see how he is able to do that next week. So it gets me very excited for next episode. This is the kind of episodes that make you just be like, oh my God, this is the best show on television, hands down. So loved it. Loved everything about it. All right. Y'all got anything to add about this episode?
What did you say about the farts? Because it was really weird, Kylie.
Yeah, so Robbie, what you didn't know is we were playing a game within a game.
Interesting.
In a game on Robbie.
Interesting. Oh, shit.
So I just gave away Kylie's. I'm sorry, Kylie.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I would have guessed that. That's the only one. Okay, give me 30 seconds here because I even said that's amazing. I think I even said that was fucking amazing, Kylie, when you said that.
Yeah, he did.
Shit. So you all had a sentence.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
So those of you listening at home, we all had a sentence that we had to slip into the conversation somehow, and Robbie didn't know, and he has to guess what we said.
God damn.
Robbie Sheldon was mad that we did it to him twice. He was ready to get it.
No. This is good. I enjoy it. The farts one was really good. Was really good. I don't know if I would have said that without Sheldon saying it. In hindsight, I definitely, yeah. Fuck, no, you guys, honestly, you guys got me. You guys got me. Well done. You slid whatever your sentences were. What were they?
Mine was the difference between stupidity and genius is that genius.
Oh, yes. I love that quote. I don't know where you found that, but again, I heard that when you said it. And I'm like,
yeah, Robbie, you were like,
yeah, I loved it.
And mine was 9 out of 10 voices in my head say that I'm crazy. The 10th is humming.
Okay, well done again. No, you guys fucking nailed it. Well done. You all have an idol.
I just want to say one thing. So I know
they are active.
I know we gotta go, but I just want to say one thing. I think it's kind of crazy how I was on this podcast 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I think we all agreed here that none of these players are likable. And I couldn't root for them. I felt empty.
Yeah.
And here I am a month later. I love every single
Drea.
one. How is what
Omar? Editing.
I don't care.
I love Mike.
They're
They showed us
trying.
these people.
They're trying.
They showed us these people. These people are playing the
Yes.
game. Lindsay,
Yes.
I'm rooting for Lindsay.
I want
actively.
Lindsay to win so bad.
I'm rooting for Drea. I was rooting for Drea. I'm rooting for Omer. Omer, we're rooting for you. Like, we went from not caring to really on board. I'm not rooting for
Canada going for Canada going for 2 in a row right here. Come on, Omer.
I'm not rooting for Jonathan.
I am full on rooting for Omer. We just finished up BB Can. We got a great BB Canada winner last week. And if Survivor can pull through and give us another great winner, I would be very, very
from
happy.
Canada, I should say. Another great
I don't
winner
care if they're
Canada.
from Timbuktu.
Speaking of BB Can, we are going to be wrapping up the season with our thoughts on Friday. You're going to see me. You'll see Sheldon. Kiley may or may not be there. Robbie, did you finish BB Can yet?
I don't have time to watch Survivor.
Then not Robbie, but other people we're gonna have. The 3 of us at least will be there. We're gonna talk about the BB Can 10 winner. We're gonna talk about the rest of the season, and we're gonna start looking forward to BB 24 US. It's gonna be nice.
Nice. I hope it better be better than nice, because after this last season of BB Can, nothing could really compete. It was a crazy season, and I have to say we're going to talk a little bit about this on Friday on the show at 8 p.m. on Friday Eastern. But there are some similarities between what Kevin did from Big Brother Canada and Omar.
Yep,
and
we'll talk about that.
There's some really interesting stuff to talk about there.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.